I'm Gerald Bentley. This is LVWS Confidential. Today, we're joined by the double-leg Don, the Submission Gangster, Bret the Threat, brought in here by Bears and Country. And now, hey, Bret,
What's up,
what's
man?
going on?
I'm feeling good, man.
The double-leg Don, the Submission Gangster.
Got it right.
Different nicknames there for you.
Ain't nobody got it. There can only be one gangster.
What brought you into the Las Vegas wrestling scene? A little bit of a unique background. Served in the military.
Yep.
And then out of the military, decided it's time to try pro wrestling, or?
No. So actually, I got out the military and moved here in 2020 February, right before the shutdown. I was training 2 to 3 times a day at 10th Planet Las Vegas with the best fighters in the world. A bunch of UFC guys. I actually had just came back from Korea in 2018 and was training on Korean Zombies team. And
so not training in pro wrestling, training in combat sports or jiu-jitsu, right?
Combat sports, yes.
Okay, so UFC style.
Yes, and I moved here to be a full-time jiu-jitsu athlete. I have a striking background. I've been striking since I was a kid. I was like 10 years old, sparring, and I had like Muay Thai smokers and stuff when I was a kid because we were too young to compete like under the athletic commission, so we would compete in smokers. And obviously I wrestled all from 9 years old to 18 when I graduated high school. And then I wanted to pursue combat sports, but I joined the Army when I was 18. But I was still pursuing combat sports while in the Army.
Well, not a bad place to learn that. And now in high school wrestling, you were a big time amateur wrestler too, right?
Mm. Yeah. So, I was never number one, and that's something that's always bothered me to this day. Is I was never number one. I would always get maybe second in the district, third in the district, or third in the conference, second in the conference. I was ranked top 10 in the state my senior year, but I wasn't number one in the state. I was never a state champion. I did come from a hard place to wrestle. The Pennsylvania boys, the Ohio, like that area, Virginia, East Coast is a very tough place to wrestle. Just like out here, California is a very tough place to wrestle. So,
what weight did you compete at?
Competed at 38, 45, 52, 60, and senior year 70.
They rode up the weight classes, and then from there into the Army.
Yes, 18. Yes, I was actually working at Walmart when I got the call of my because I had joined the National Guard when I was 17. I really don't know why, and I went to basic training my junior year of high school. Came back, went to school that year, then went to my infantry school training to learn how to become an infantryman after senior year. And then I was like, I want to go active duty. Don't know why, but I was hell-bent on going active duty. But I was still training. And actually, the week before I got my active duty forms, which was very rare to get, my dad was friends with a sheriff. And my sheriff talked to this sheriff talked to some people in very high places to get that form. Because my unit, National Guard unit, said, we've never seen anyone be able to transfer from the National Guard to active duty. It's extremely hard because once you're locked in with the state, you're locked in with the state. But
yeah, they're different. They're different organizations totally, because the National Guard, you are truly representing that state, and then are called up in the event of an emergency. And then U.S. military obviously is the U.S. military. And I don't think people realize there's actually a hard line between them.
Yeah, and it all falls under the U.S. military, U.S. Army. We all wear U.S. Army, U.S. Army, U.S. We don't wear National Guard but The reserves and active duty components go hand in hand together, but the National Guard and active duty component do not go. It's weird. It's a lot to get into, but honestly, looking back at it, if that would have never happened, if my dad would have never talked to the sheriff when I was 18, bro, I was working at Walmart and I was still training to fight. I actually had just told my coach, hey, I want to take a fight because I was 18. I could finally fight under the athletic commission.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, all right, let's do it. So I was actually in a training camp at 18. And literally, I mean, it was literally a week or two later. I was working at Walmart and I got a call from the active duty recruiter who was doing my paperwork. He said, hey man, this is kind of crazy. Never seen this before, but your paperwork went through and you're going to Korea. I was like, what? Okay. And I quit my job at Walmart that day, told my coach, hey, I'm going to Korea, blah, blah, blah. And that was kind of really the last time I'd been home. Like,
okay.
I went home 2019 from when I came back from Korea, but that was for like a week, and then I haven't been home since. So, but I still represent the great state of Virginia.
Okay. How long were you in Korea? Just about a
I
year
was
or
in
so?
Korea a total of 12 months.
And then
Exactly.
in the army for did you
Yes.
do
So I was in the army for exactly uh, 36 months and 0 days.
Okay.
So I did a 3-year contract.
Okay. Now, how much did the along with all the fight training you did, the jiu-jitsu, the amateur wrestling training, how much did the military discipline kind of help you in moving
Not
into
really.
more combat sports? Not much.
Nah, I was kind of one of those, like, I always like to go a little against the system. I didn't like how regimed it is, just the waking
Yeah,
up, PT formation, format. I just like to, just kind of go through, do what I do. And,
that's not a
like,
good mix.
no, no. I mean,
Yeah,
I did my time. I got honorably discharged, never got in any trouble or anything. But
yeah.
it just, if I never would have did it, I would have never been here. And that's a fact. I'd still be in Virginia hoping to be here one day. But it
And
gave me the
why is that? What was the how did that go together with going to Las Vegas and getting into pro wrestling?
my I think everything happens for a reason, and like, my life just kept taking me further west, further west. Well, it took me overseas first, but
Yeah.
then took me further west to El Paso, Texas, Fort Bliss, Texas. That's where I was stationed at for the last 2 years of my career,
Okay.
and in the army. And
Hmm.
then from there, I'm like, Vegas is only a 10-hour drive. I originally wanted to move to Dallas, Texas, to pursue fighting, but I just knew Vegas was the spot. So,
Yeah. What made the switch to go from pursuing a UFC career to getting into pro wrestling?
so I I just remember I was training 2 to 3 times a day. I had just competed like 3 weeks after getting here and won. I smashed this guy, and he was a belt rank higher than me. And I was like, man, maybe I can really, really do this. And this is 2020, so I was 2021.
Okay.
And so, but then I just, the pandemic hit, and like, I was doing private training sessions with some very high level guys. It's like been to very big stages. And I don't know, I just was like getting burnt. I just done it my whole life. It's getting burnt, and I've always loved pro wrestling, but I never thought 1 second I'd ever do it ever. And one day I just so happened to see D'Lo Brown Pro Wrestling Academy. I was like,
Hmm.
whoa, D'Lo Brown. Of course, I grew up watching him. But it
Sure.
was weird because it's FSW, but for some reason it was listed on that on the page. So I just walked in there. I talked to Joe, and this was the day they opened from the pandemic. Like, not a week later. It was the day they opened from the pandemic. And I walked in there. First person I seen was Matt Vandergriff. And there was a casket in the ring. I remember we had to get the casket out the ring. I was like, why is there a casket in the ring? And
No, for a casket match, of course.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and Zoe Stark was there. Tom Howard was my very first pro wrestling class. And it's weird because he actually just commented on one of my posts saying, "It's great to see your commitment, brother." And I thought that was pretty cool that he still keeps tabs on me because Tom Howard's the OG, he's a legend of the game. So he trained John Cena. He's helped with Zoe Stark's development.
Sure.
And yeah, and just being around all the guys that have really helped me out immensely, and I was like, this is pretty cool. So I just stuck with it, started traveling around, and started really liking it, and people kind of told me like, hey man, like you can actually do, because there was times I was like, I don't know about this, man, like maybe I'm just more suited for this, and a lot of people just kind of kept me on the straight and narrow, and really kept me focused.
How much did your combat sports background, Jiu Jitsu, UFC, amateur wrestling, did it help you in getting acclimated to pro wrestling? I mean, you can definitely see elements of it in your move set.
Yeah. Oh
But
no, absolutely, 100%.
or was it
Yeah.
a little bit hard to get away from the instincts because it's a different mindset, right? I mean, in combat sports, you're going, I'm going to take the guy down, I'm going to end the match, let's go now. As opposed to, okay, hey, we're gonna go at it and I'm gonna work it. It's just a different mindset, isn't it?
No.
No?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes and no. At the end of the day, I think I was born to do this. So I think some people have innate abilities for this game. And just like the fight game, some people just have innate abilities. Some people just have that kiss of death of a punch. And you can't explain it. You can't wrap your head around it. But there is just innate abilities. And some people have it and some people don't. And we see that in a lot of times, people just fall off because they just don't have it. And I just think I had it for this game, like in terms of like who you see in the ring is who I am. It's not some gimmick. It's not some like. It's not like super charactery. Like he's playing something. That's exactly who I am, and I mean it every time I walk through the curtain. So
Just cranked up just a little bit.
of course, yeah.
Well, and that makes sense because I've in just doing a little prep, I've heard you compared to Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, as having the heel mentality in a younger wrestler, or something which just isn't out there much anymore. Do you see that comparison at all?
No, I don't see it
No?
at all
Okay.
because I am myself, and if there are similar traits, then at
It's
the end of the day,
purely
like
coincidental.
yeah, because who I am is who I was on the basketball or on the wrestling mat or the basketball court when I was 12 years old. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like that's always been. I mean, you can't fake it, like when I say things in the ring, because that's just who I am. When I do things, certain mannerisms, it's just who I am. And at the end of the day, Maxwell Jacob Freeman ain't calling himself a gangster or putting
No?
a shirt over his face when he walks out, and double legs and stuff. So I mean, I think there's a vast difference, and I don't really like the comparison because I like to just be
Come
me.
on, be yourself.
People like to compare me to McGregor, and I do. I, since McGregor was fighting in Ireland, I had followed him. I've always been a huge fan of him. And I can see, some references, but I'm not McGregor. I am me.
Yeah, it's okay to draw influences, right?
Of
So
course,
here,
of course.
where does the double leg Don and the submission gangster come from? Where'd you came up with
Off a whim.
those names?
Off a whim. Got the submission gangster from I was like, okay, well, want my finish to be a submission. And then it's kind of a thing in like the shoot world, like, oh man, he's a gangster on the mat. Like he's
Mhm.
really good. And I was like, oh, the submission gangster. And the double like Dawn actually came from it's not a big story. It's just literally one day it was like listen to music. I'm like, double like Dawn. Yeah, I like it. Literally, that's what it was. I just
Okay.
started saying it.
And it just kind of hit.
And it just hit, and I started throwing out the DLD, and now people kind of know, and the signal for the double leg, and that was just me listening to music, kind of going around some things like, oh, what if I did this, and it still has a lot more work to get over. I'm still trying to find the right moment and placement. I mean, I'm still new to this game, man. I've
Yeah,
been on,
you're
yeah.
2 years in now.
Yeah, not even. I've been training for 2 years, but working a year and 9 months, like not even 2 years.
So you and Nick Xander started within days of each other, right?
Yes, we came up at the very same time. Yes.
Now, getting in that area, like you said, if not for the way things fall into place, I mean, if not being in Las Vegas, you wouldn't really have the same opportunity to get as many matches in. And now you're kind of spreading out around the Southwest Territory, it looks like.
Yeah. And I just still need to get more out there. So that's just kind of that. I feel like you can never be enough in this game. You can make a mill, but you're gonna want to make 2 mil. You're gonna
Hmm.
want to make 3 mil, and that's kind of my mindset. I think when you start saying, "Oh yeah, I did really great. I did really great," that's kind of when you start to fall off. Um, and I've been told it's a blessing and a curse. My mindset because I'm super hard on myself. I
Sure.
don't. I'm not a mark for myself. I'm always thinking like, oh no, it's just like if someone said, oh, that was a really good match, I'm like, thank you, but in my head, I'm like, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough, and that's a blessing and a curse mindset.
Hmm.
I've heard guys like McGregor talk about having mindsets like that, and you know, but there needs to be a line. Sometimes you need to give yourself a little credit.
Take a little bit of credit for when back when I did morning drive sports radio, I interviewed Bill Belichick fairly often, and he actually told me one time that, hey, I hate losing way more than I enjoy winning.
Yes.
So when you see him giving a post game press conference and he seems like he's in a horrible mood after the Patriots won,
Yes.
he is because that's him.
Yes.
He's more concerned with the few plays or maybe the turnover that happened that should have been a touchdown than he is excited about the win. And
Yeah.
that is a good attitude to have. I mean, you can bring that in after a match. And do you
Yeah.
seek out some of the veterans? Would you go to like a Cutthroat Cody, a Remy Marcel, and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
what could I do different? What did you see?"
Um. Yeah. I mean, they're not always around, so I kind of just Um, I don't beg for it. Like I feel like like I'm not gonna be like, hey, did you watch my match? You watch my match?
Yeah,
I don't like beg, but like I'm always open to critiques and whatever I need to work on. Because if I was great or anything of that sort, I'd be fucking signed right now. You know. So and body wise, I need to work more. I mean, it's never good enough. I can have four
sure.
abs, but I need 6 abs. I can have 6 abs, but I need 8 abs. So
So what would your schedule be now? What do you I mean, how much gym time are you having to put in? What goes into the week?
uh, well, a lot. Like it's almost kind of overbearing because it's like I always feel like I'm having to be at the gym, having to be at training, having to be. I'm in school right now, so I have a lot of extra time. But yeah, it's a every day. Like I take maybe when I have shows on show days, 1 or 2 days off, but it's every day for the gym. Yeah.
What would you say now approaching your second year? What would you say have been your best matches so far? The ones that you look back at and say, "Hey, yeah, that was really important. That moved me up a notch."
Nick Xander, that match, and honestly, there's been a lot of matches I think recently I've been in a little slump. Uh, and I'm looking to get out of it. I think this past weekend with Johnny Butabi at Best of the West, um,
Okay.
wasn't like the most craziest technical side match, but that match kind of helped pull a little bit more out of me. He It was probably one of the funnest matches I've had, and the crowd was really into it, and that's something I haven't felt in a while, and that was just kind of special,
Mhm.
weirdly in a weird way. You're like, sometimes matches will just hit you in a certain type of way. You'll get that reaction, like, yes, that's what I've been wanting. You know,
Does that give you extra? Does that really drive you extra? Does it get you extra energy if the crowd's into it and
of
you can hear
course,
the reaction?
of
Yeah.
course, but I'm always thinking, what's next? After I pinned him for the 1, 2, 3, I I had some drinks, some double drinks, and then I'm thinking, what's next? You know, so that's just how my mindset works.
And I know you got a match coming up with Matt Vandergriff here pretty soon.
I do at the taco festival, so it should be really fun.
Have you faced off with him before?
I have not, so it'll be very interesting to see how this match goes. I think I have an idea how it goes, but you know,
And
well,
quite a mix of styles too.
very mixed of styles. I think he gets caught either with a right hand, a double leg, or a submission. Either way, it's a triple threat. So
Not going to let the flips and the flops get in your way, huh?
hell nah, he can flip and flop all over around the ring. I'll stay in the middle and smack him when he gets down to the canvas. After he gets done to his little flip, I'll smack him when he lands on the canvas.
Now, if people watching this haven't seen a lot of your matches, I really think some of the
Yes,
matches. I
that
popped
was a
this
good
up
match too.
here with Caljack. You can find that on FSW Network. You can find it on YouTube. That was a good matchup of styles too, because Caljack, former Pac-12 champion, so you have the amateur background, you have the combat sports backgrounds, and Cal's a big guy.
Very big guy,
So
and he's strong. When you get in the ring with Kyle Jack, you're gonna feel a strength that you haven't felt before, and that was very hard to overcome. Like like it's a just different level of strength. Like his explosiveness, his everything is just so like it's hard to deal with.
and for people who haven't gotten into it, most people, I guess, obviously, heck, who haven't gotten into a pro wrestling ring or been in an amateur ring, just carrying somebody's weight as big as he is, that's a massive challenge. It really wears
Oh
you down.
yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. You're
Now,
100.
you
Percent
had a couple of matches with him. Who else are you looking at competing against here in the next, next few months, the next year?
Like, who do I want?
Yeah, who do you want to get into the ring with?
I want Tom Lawler. That's who I want. I want Tom Lawler. I want Kenny King. I want Alpha Zoe. He's out of North Cal.
Okay.
Um, I want those are top three. Uh, Definitely top three on my mind right now.
And
And
Tom Lawler, filthy Tom Lawler, see him on New
yes,
Japan, see him in MLW,
yes,
because of the MMA background.
yeah, and just I think we could have a really good match, me and Tom Lawler, and I think Danny Limelight. That's number 4. Oh, and Ice Williams.
Okay,
Those kind of 5 guys.
good, good series of opponents. Danny Limelight, quick guy. Seen him before too, and well, in New Japan now and MLW. So he's
Yeah.
he's gotten around. And then also you get into a little bit of tag team. I've seen you with Suavecitos.
Suavecitos. Yeah. I had a lot of fun with them. I don't think it's over. I think we'll probably do something in the future, but I had a lot of fun with them. With those guys, I think we could have done a little bit more in cohesion wise, like move wise in the ring, but I feel like our personalities were so over the top that it really didn't really matter what we did, because at the end of the day, people, I mean, we are who we are, so people either loved it or hated it. So we've been around. We went to PCW Arizona, Best of the West, FSW, and hopefully we'll reach some more promotions.
Yeah, I mean, are you reaching out? I mean, you've gotten into a few areas. Best of the West, I guess, that's probably the one you've been in the most besides FSW.
Yeah, well, and PCW Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to just get involved with the outside promotions and to kind of spread out a little bit?
It's. I think I could do a better job. Um, I think I could maybe send more stuff, and I will do that. I was actually doing that yesterday. Uh, I've actually been in contact with a few more promotions and heard some more things back. So it just kind of is all timing. It's all timing, and you got to bring something like, why would that promotion bring you out? What is different about you? You know,
Hmm.
do they have another submission gangster or a double leg Don or a BTT? And from my knowledge, no. So, but you have to sell on why that's different, because these promotions don't have endless budgets or endless spots. There's only so
Hmm.
many spots on the roster.
Yeah.
So, and it's just timing. Like, you can't ever take it personal if you don't hear something back. Like, those promotions have 1,000 other dudes that want to get on too. So,
Hmm.
it's just timing when the right time, right opponent comes, and then you'll hear something, and then you kind of get in and have a decent, good match, talk with the promoter, then you get brought back. It's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, I don't think people realize the level of salesmanship that goes into it, because you have to not only get over with the fans, you have to get over with the promoters as well, because you're selling them on you as much as they're going to sell you to the fans. And
Yes, exactly.
totally different side of the business.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I feel like if you get over the fans and you're just respectful and cool, then you'll get over the promoter.
Yeah, I mean, and if you can get it in the ring and get the job done too,
Yeah,
that's the other part of it.
because money talks. Money talks. So if they see a potential for, at this level, I mean, we're not selling out arenas, but like potential of people are interested in just seeing you,
Hmm.
then, you know, or the promoter's interested in seeing you wrestle again, then you're going to get brought back.
Yeah, what areas of the country would you like to get into?
East Coast, definitely. I'm from the East Coast. So, and I know if I were to go back home, I know personally know a couple good friends that wrestle out there. They told me, hey, if you're ever back home, come up to this promotion, blah blah blah. It's just hard, It's hard to just go back home, and my family's from Virginia, which is near OVW.
Hmm.
Actually, I had talked to the promoter at OVW, and I'm still trying to figure get things in the works for that. So that's kind of my next thing, like OVW, because TV OVW was a feeder into WWE.
Hmm.
So that's kind of my next thing.
Well, and
But it's just hard.
getting on TV, because then once you get on TV, now you're on the internet, and then you're everywhere, and it makes it much easier to tell your story, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%.
So what's the goal? What's your goal promotion? Do you have a destination, a dream destination you want to get to, or
The
any
goal
of
is,
the national touring ones would be in
of
the
course,
running.
the goal is to make a meal off this game, be at the top. I did not come here to just, I'm not trying to quote him, but as Conor McGregor said it perfect. I did not come here to take part. I came here to take over. And that quote rang very true because I do not want to take part. I do not. I'm going to let you know something. I am not satisfied when I'm match 1 or 2 or 3 on the card. I always leave not satisfied. And obviously, got to keep working and earning that, of course.
Sure.
But I'm not satisfied. I want to be the main event of every show, main event of WrestleMania. And that's a lot of work. And there's only very few people that get that. It's only very, very, very few.
No, there's only so many spots, and once they're there, they tend to be there for a little while. So, but
Yes.
hey, you're making good progress because, like I've talked with a few guys, there's plenty of trainers who say, "Hey, it takes 7, 8, 10 years before you are where you're going to end up being, and you're not even at 2 years."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I've just been kind of chilling a little bit because sometimes you can drive yourself fucking crazy. I've gotten in depressions because of this. I've gotten, anxious because of this. But, also we have to make sure we're okay financially and personally too. And I kind of started to realize that because when you're okay financially and personally, then wrestling will fall into place. It's kind of weird, and I'm a veteran, so I get paid very good money to attend college, which
Hmm.
is not
That's
that
great.
strenuous,
Yeah.
and
Well, yeah, just like amateur wrestling, right? You definitely can mount an attack from a good foundation.
of course,
Yeah,
yes,
if you're not stable with what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, it's going to be really hard to achieve any goals because
you have no
you're
money.
worried about keeping the lights on. You're not going to do everything you need to do to get to your destination.
Exactly, exactly,
Yeah, very, very true.
yes.
What are you majoring in?
Physical therapy assistant.
Okay. Well, that'll be handy.
Yeah, no, it will be. So, um, I don't love it, but it's a backup plan.
Well, you got enough other things going on. Well, hey,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and we'll get the old belt out here. Go to the championship round. What wrestlers have motivated you so much to get to this point? Well, who's the biggest influence?
Talking about watching
Uh,
from
watching wrestlers, yeah,
um
or both. Watching wrestlers and what wrestler's been your biggest influence in reality that you've been working with?
watching wrestler wise, Steve Austin. Huge Stone Cold Steve Austin fan. Like I get a lot of my stuff from him too. Also, um, let's see. Working wise, Ice Williams has helped me a lot. The faction in general, they have helped me a lot. Yeah. Sin Bodhi, Kenny King. How could Sin Bodhi, Kenny King? Even
Sure.
though they're more like vets to me, but and I haven't worked in a match with Kenny King yet. Um, Kenny King and Sin Bodhi are the sole reason for the development of my character. Kenny
Okay.
King gave me DLD, Kenny, because I kind of told him what I was thinking, and Kenny King really kind of put some polishing on it. Sin Bodhi helped me so much with just the in-ring work and promo. He's just all around. They're two all-around top-notch coaches. D'Lo Brown has given me some very good advice that I will always, and he's, how could you not listen to that?
Sure.
So who else? Um, And there's so many people that's the problem. I don't want to like exclusive. Pretty much
Yeah.
everyone I've worked with, I've learned
Everybody in the group. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Then who would be your dream opponent
The
to
Rock.
face anybody? The Rock. Okay.
Yeah. The Rock.
Fair enough. Dream match. What kind of match would you like to have that you haven't had yet?
I was about to say steel cage. I just remembered at Knox Pro, me and Xander had a steel cage match. I forgot about that. We were like 6 months in the business too. Crazy. I would say like I've had a casket match with Funny Bone. I would say maybe a weapon. Weirdly, a hardcore match. I've never had a hardcore match, and I loved watching like Crash Holly. I was a little young, but like when I got older, I would rewatch the old tape, like Crash Holly and them having hardcore matches. You know, I always thought that was really entertaining.
Okay. And what's the goal for moving in? We're close enough now. What's the goal for moving into 2023?
Get signed. Absolutely get signed. Make a mill.
And you're open, right? MLW, Ring of Honors getting back started, New Japan, Impact, AEW, WWE.
100%. Absolutely every single one. How could you not be open? But I am very focused on WWE. That is my like dream play. But of course, it would be a dream to be signed anywhere else.
Sure.
But you know, I think everyone wants that WrestleMania moment.
Hard to argue with that. They're going to be walking out to a sold-out SoFi Stadium, and this year that's going to be a heck of an event. Yeah.
Yeah, LA. So imagine walking out in the stadium in Los Angeles, California, with what 50,000, 80,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, hey, everybody's going to want to watch. You can check out Bret the Threat on the FSW network. You can do a little dive into YouTube, check out some of his matches, watch the double leg Don, the Submission Gangster in action. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight, Bret. Really appreciated you taking the time.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
And by all means, subscribe to LVWS Confidential on YouTube to catch all the new episodes. Till the next time we step in the ring, thanks again, Bret. We look forward to seeing everybody back in the ring when we get back together next week.
Of course. Thank you.
Thanks.